manicure portion, and then after I do her manicure, we will get into the actual gel application. So right now, today, soft gels. Tomorrow, we'll go over implementing and working with hard gels. But today, definitely soft gels. Gels is a little tricky to work with, different consistency than the regular polish. So we'll go into that one first. Very first thing, always make sure your client hands are clean, sanitized, or soap and water. There you go. I know what Bridget been doing this morning.
Huh?
So go ahead and clean your hands. How much you doing this morning?
Well, I'm just eating.
Very good. All right, so she has nails on her left hand, but we all know in the nail culture, left hand, left pinky first. But since we're going to go ahead and work with this one, her right hand first. When you're working with natural nails, you guys remember it is edge to center. Go ahead and start practicing that now. That will be needed to be achieved at state board. But either way, it's healthy for the natural nail. If you saw on the natural nail, you're only straightening out her free edge and should continue just kind of have peeling. So again, edge to center when we are filing and working with the natural nail. Go through, file, and shape. For those of you that have not had the manicure demo and just want to practice this, I do have the steps available and I'll get those to you. Remember, if you're ever working on a client in the back, there is a clipboard and it has all of the steps to all services that we do in any demo I've done. So again, edge to center on natural nails. I'm holding the client's finger, pulling back her sidewall to ensure I'm not falling on the side of her skin. A technique you guys use, you'll probably use, but when you're holding her finger, try to grip down the sidewall or the nail folds of the client to ensure that you're not falling onto her skin. Be a nice square, Bridget.
I know, babe. I don't know what shape they grew out into.
No, it's okay. Remember as well, we went over abrasives, I believe, in the past chapter. If you're working on the natural nail, anybody remember what grit or file we use?
100?
There we go, 240.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No, you're
100.
good. No, you're good. 240, you guys. Anything very high. The higher the number, the softer the file. The lower the number, the more coarse it is. So even if you had to guess, you're just like, okay, I know that the higher the number, 200, 240, anything like that is going to be very fine. And that's what you're supposed to use on the natural nail. Never nothing coarse.
Yeah, I was thinking the opposite way around. I don't know why they didn't number them the other way
That
around.
is true too. Like the
Right?
coarse should be like 200.
Right, that's what I know.
But okay, so let's go with this, break this down. So the number is the amount of grits on the actual file.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it
80
does.
particles
That's
on
right.
one file would make it really, really
Yeah.
rough versus 200 and something particles
Not
per
much
square inch of it.
smoother.
Yeah, make it a whole lot smoother.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess when you look at it that way, then it makes sense. And again, I'm just going back and forth until I achieve like this straight, square, free edge. Some of Bridget's nails are kind of short, but I'm trying to get it as squared as I can. All right, so in a manicure, once you are done filing and shaping the very first hand, you're going to apply the cuticle softener to the client's nail plate and allow her to soak to soften up some of that skin. So I'm going in with my cuticle softener. Remember, I definitely encourage you guys to purchase cuticle remover. If you're someone that just does not feel comfortable with the cuticle nippers as of yet, cuticle remover removes, and remember, cuticle softener only softens. So again, if you're just like, ooh, I'm not good with removing cuticles, maybe purchase a cuticle remover, okay? When you're applying products to your client's skin, never touch the client's skin with the actual bottle. The tip should not touch her skin. So just kind of drip it onto the nail plate. I'm rubbing it in just a little bit. Being mindful about how much I'm actually getting on her skin. I want this to be on the nail plate. So really like a lot of harsh chemicals in everything that we use. I think everything that we use, you guys be very mindful of how you're allowing that to get onto your client's skin. We talked about skin irritation, contact dermatitis. These all come from just repeated and prolonged exposure to your client's skin. You constantly putting cuticle softener on her and it's constantly getting on her skin. At some point, she may become allergic or have an allergic reaction. monomer liquid powder when you're doing the acrylics. If you're constantly going around her cuticle area and you're touching her skin with the monomer and liquid, at some point she may develop some type of allergic reaction. That's with everything that we use, from primer to cuticle softeners, the monomer liquid, gel polish. Try to be as minimal as you can. Start practicing these good habits now of not getting things onto the client's skin. Had a lot of girls just kind of come through my classroom. They practice on each other, and a lot of them have contact dermatitis. I had one girl in her entire nail program. She couldn't do anything because they were kind of at home on their own on the weekend, hanging out, mixing products, and her whole hand broke out. All right, and so the entire time while she's in nail school, she couldn't even do any nails or practice on herself because all of her fingertips, all around her cuticles, had all broke out. All right, and I think at that time they mixed I think it was Mia Secret and maybe not polished together, like the monomer and the powder, and it just kind of caused a reaction. So just be very mindful when you guys are working on each other, working on models. Try not to mix and play with chemicals a lot, but just know it does work at some point for some people. Like it may come together and form a nail, but think about the chemicals that you just put together and actually expose the client's skin to. So just think about that. So after I let her soak, I would have been working on her other hand while this one is soaking. And then I'll take this one out, apply cuticle softener to her other hand, and allow it to soak while I'm pushing the cuticle back on this hand. All right. Just going to take off just a little bit of the water. Very gently, I'm just going to kind of scrape the nail plate, not putting any scratches or anything. It's very gentle. If there was any cuticle on the nail plate, it should lift. If you find that cuticle is stubborn, you can add more cuticle softener back to it and allow the client to soak some more. Not too bad, Bridget, just a little bit. Again, I'm holding it like a pencil, same way that we hold our e-files, and I'm just gently scraping. For those who don't remember, cuticle is only the tissue, dead tissue, that's adhered to her nail plate. So you can actually see, Natasha, you're like right here, so you can actually like really see it coming off of her nail plate. I'm not nowhere on her skin. Everything that's coming off right here, all this dead, it was on her actual nail plate. You see that?
Yeah.
Notice how I'm continuing to hold on to my client as I'm moving on and transitioning to the next finger. I'm not dropping her finger and letting it go. I'm here, I'm moving, and I always kind of keep in contact with my client. All right? Just a little nail tech etiquette. Now, the difference between the manicure for gel and then a basic. Everything is pretty much the same when it comes down to curing for the nails, but the only thing that is going to be different is we will not provide the massage until after the polish has been on. Can anybody like maybe guess why? I don't do her, because in a regular manicure, we get done, we buff, and then we start massaging, and then we remove the oil, and then we polish. Can anyone guess why the massage would be done afterwards?
Oil.
Yeah. So much oil would be into the nail plate once you do a massage for gel, and we just don't want to take any chances. Yeah, we could probably use dehydrator and alcohol to remove it, but you just put so much moisture back into her hands and her nail plate. Potentially, she could just have her gels just pop right off. So for a gel manicure, you will massage after the gel has been placed onto the client's nails and dried. All right, Bridget, a little bit here. All right, so after I went ahead and pushed all that off of her skin, I'm gonna go in with my cuticle nippers and nip any tissue that may still be attached. So coming in here to the side, I am holding down the side wall, coming in here, and you can see dead skin. Let me get you another one. I need some a little bit more sharper. Let's go with these. All right, Bridget. And I'm just kind of scooping in and going under the skin and nipping. I'm not yanking or pulling. I'm only opening up my cuticle nipper and closing. Be careful, we don't have insurance. Yeah. I'm not yanking or pulling. You never want to yank and pull. Just take it around it and close, just like that. Coming in, holding it down, kind of coming into the corner, getting any skin off here. Again, dead cuticle is like colorless tissue. So right here, cuticle, brown part, eponychium. You see the difference? So the white part that I'm flicking is going to be dead skin. That little brown area there is the eponychium. We never cut into that. All right. So you guys can see the difference. Cuticle, eponychium. Most of the time, cuticle just looks white like it is on her, pretty much for everybody. It bubbles up. Once it gets wet, it gets all bubbly. You know that it's like dead tissue. It's white. If it doesn't have any color to it, like if it looked like this, like her skin, then we wouldn't cut it. But most of the time, it's very colorless. It looks pretty much white once it gets soft and bubble up on everyone. Everyone's pretty much looks the same. Sometimes hard to tell in fair skin, but you can be able to tell because it gets all bubbly and soft looking. And so you know that that's going to actually be cuticle. We are allowed to cut hangnails in Texas too. So if there is a hangnail on your client and it may not be on the cuticle area, maybe on her hyponychium, you are able to cut a hangnail. We just don't do ingrown toenails and we do not cut past the actual cuticle area. You can always trim dead skin.
I did. Thank you.
Notice how I'm turning and moving. I'm not doing the same motion all the way across. I'm moving, going backwards on the left side of the nail. So you wouldn't be like trying to do it all. Just kind of maybe come to this side once you get over here and just come the opposite way.
I don't think so. I looked the other day and I don't think we have any. I don't know why they didn't order it, but let me go double check. Thank you, sweetie.
You want to make sure that you get all that off of the client's nail plate, because if there is cuticle or dead tissue still left on the actual nail plate, it's just going to cause your gels or your acrylics to lift right on up. So if you're having a problem with lifting, make sure that you are removing all of the cuticle off of the client's nail plate. A lot of people I know use cuticle bits. Be very careful with those, you guys, because these are still metal bits. And you're still fouling on her nail plate. So I don't know how much drilling you have to do with a cuticle bit to get it off. So be very careful. I've been noticing here lately a lot of clients posting videos of these indentions right at the cuticle area. And I think because people are using these cuticle bits on her natural nail, and you guys, or not you guys, but nail techs are causing indentions in clients' nails with the cuticle bit, when all you have to do is just practice and learn how to use a cuticle nipper. I find that the cuticle bit is just pretty much just making people lazy and they just don't want to do it. Like, I feel like you should just go in, cut and remove it off of it. And because using a metal bit onto her natural nail plate, especially in that area where her nail is growing out, it's just dangerous.
And it doesn't really get everything.
It doesn't.
That on my pedicure, and I'm like, what is
and
that?
You still had skin
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. Now, the one cuticle bit that I do have, it's actually to go and smooth out. You know how sometimes you have like this rigidness kind of going on? It comes around and smooths that out, but I never put that on her natural nail plate. So just be very careful with when you go in, because that's nail dust that's flying, not cuticle. I even tell my girls that when they're prepping for acrylic nails, be careful and be mindful about how much you're using the sanding band, because that's her nail plate that's flying everywhere. All that dust, that's not cuticle. You guys are way down here, so it's clearly not cuticle. And you have all this dust. Like, you just removed. Does anybody remember how many layers a nail plate was? Anybody? 45.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 45 layers to this, but they're very thin. So it's not like they have like all these layers. It's like very thin. And like, you're just shaving off layers of her nail plate. So it's not that the acrylics or the gel or the dip is making clients weak. It's the nail tech and her filing. If you're finding that your nails are very weak or they're breaking off, it's not the products, it's not the e-file, it's the nail tech, okay? Just FYI. I know a lot of people are like, I got all these indentions in my nail plate because of the drill, or that it pushed out for some reason. Like, you get a refill and they think that, oh, this indention came because of, no, the indention came because your nail tech was drilling into your nail plate. So just be very mindful, you guys. I mean, not only are we here to make pretty nails, but also care for the natural nail as well. All right, you guys. So once I get done with removing the cuticle, I'm just going to come in and buff the nail plate, remove any more that may be on the actual nail plate, smooth it out, and get off any other that may be on her, any other cuticle that may be on. You can just kind of buff it off. Again, remember to hold back her sidewalls to get into the nail folds, to get any dead tissue that may be in there as well. Thank you, Bridget. I'm glad you came in. I guess you're supposed to be graduating, but I can use you for my demo. So I guess it worked out. Are you doing Griselda nails? I thought she said she was going to, oh, she's doing yours.
She was gonna do mine.
Okay. No, I'll take this off as soon as I get done.
That's all right.
Then they can see a soak off too. So they'll be able to know how to do the gel soak off too.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and do it for you. All right, so just kind of going in, making sure I removed everything off of her skin. I'm gonna clean the nail plate with some alcohol, and then we'll proceed with applying her polish. Now, we talked about gel polishes, soft gels yesterday, and they were talking about how some of them don't have to have a primer and some do. Kiara Sky, unfortunately, already comes as a base. So you can kind of pretty much go right in. Other than that, check with the manufacturer of the gel you're using. You may have to use a base coat. But Kiara Sky actually has a built-in base in their actual colors. That's why I like that actual brand. Just saves me from buying a base coat. I can just buy the color and get me a nice top coat. So I'm just cleaning the nail plate. Or you can always have your clients go wash at this point. It's really up to you. I just went and sprayed her with alcohol and then just kind of cleaned off the actual nail plate. All right, I'm gonna go in with a pink. And I did bring a Kiara Sky, a D&D, Nail Supply Glamour, and OPI. I think the school has Gelish and Cuccio. I've never really heard of it, but it has a very thick viscosity. So just kind of give you guys some ideas of different viscosities of gel. I wanted to bring some in for you. So wash all this to the side. All right, I'm gonna move this for you so you can have to just ease right in. Again, your gel you're using may have to have like a base coat. Again, this one actually came in. You'll see it too. It says Kiara Sky. It has like color base. All right, so base coat and your actual color. You don't have to go in and buy an actual base coat for this Kiara Sky. Some gels do. I think D&D actually comes with a base coat needed, and also Nail Supply Glamour and OPI. All right, gel polish. Very first coat, you guys, be very mindful. You don't have to use a lot, okay? I know with regular polish, you want to have a lot and coat the whole nail plate and make sure it's full. But with gel, go in with a very thin layer. I want you guys to remember your center side technique. Put it in the middle, push down for center. And again, come around, side, side. All right. That's really it for your first coat. Don't try to go back over it and make it all. First coat is fine. Just want to actually start an application or a foundation. Same thing. Come into the center. If you're like really nervous, like, oh my God, I always tap right here to kind of take my jitters out, you know? And then I come in and I push as close as I can to the cuticle and bring it all the way back down. That's my center stripe. My next one is going to be side. So side, take your time, you guys. Your client will look at this gel set all week. We want her to know that we know how to polish and we want her to come back. So I'd rather you take your time with polishing her nails versus rushing through and polish being all over her skin, just looking a really bad mess. Again, she has all week to look at these, so she can either be like, that girl did good, she polishes amazing, or she's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to polish, I don't know if I'm gonna go back. All right, so
And then
definitely.
she sees her friends too, like, oh no, do you see that?
Yeah. So, take your time, you guys. Like, they're not, I think she would love for you to take your time and to rush through her. Her nails look like crap. And I know polishing is one of those things where you're like probably nervous, but just breathe. Again, come here, tap in the middle. Push up as close as you can to the cuticle, all the way down. And then side. Side. All right, it's very gentle and smooth. No reason to rush. Now, when I'm doing gel polishing, even if I'm just top coating on my acrylics, I always leave my thumb last. I tend to let them cure together versus putting it on and then letting it cure. Because I've noticed that when I do the gel polish and I put my thumb in a lamp, it's like this. So all of this side is not being exposed to the light. I just had a lot of trial and errors with gel. So I tend to do my thumbs by themselves and let her cure like this. I don't know if you guys have worked with gel and you gel the whole hand and you put it in and then this side wrinkles up, right? That's what it is, all right? It don't have any exposure to the light. Now, if you had a gel lamp that had lights on the bottom and stuff like that, that may work out. So I definitely, my trick is paint my forehead, let them cure, paint my thumbs, and let them cure together, all right? And you go breathe in. And then while that hand is curing, of course, we'll go in with our other hand and kind of go back and forth. I see some people do the whole hand and then come back and do the other hand. It's just taking too much time, all right? One hand, go to the next, and just transfer yourself back and forth. Remember, on the back of the bottles, there's two different ones depending on what light you're actually using, UV or LED. On the back of the bottle, it will tell you if you need to use 60 seconds, like this one actually says 2 minutes under UV or 30 seconds under a LED. All right, so always read the back of your bottle just to determine how long your polish should actually stay in the light. Okay, let me see your hand, Bridget. Second coat. Now, on the second coat, you guys, just a little different. We're gonna go in, again, be mindful of the amount of polish.
Perfect, yeah.
We're gonna go in, paint the nail plate again, being very mindful of the cuticle area and her sidewalls. If you happen to get some on there, that's perfectly fine. But what we're also gonna do on this application is coat her free edge. Go ahead and cap it off. If you don't cap off the free edge of a gel polish, it's potential for it to go ahead and lift off. So when I say cap, I'm just gonna come down to the free edge and paint right across to cap it in. This is where a lot of chipping happens, but if you go ahead and cap that, that'll help prevent your client's nails from chipping. Only on the second coat.
I have no idea. That's why it's good to have all those calculators on your phone.
Ask your phone. You can ask Siri. Hey, what's 20% of this?
Right? That's what I do.
Ask somebody smarter than me.
I know. I'm the same exact way.
You can obviously, again, just come down, pull the skin back, and go ahead and cap the free edge. If you get any on the skin, they have what they call, or I call it, a cleanup brush, but I think the nail shops may call it a French brush. That's this actual brush. They call it a French brush. Really good with creating French smile lines with regular polish as well as gel, and good for cleaning up And most of them does come with a little dotting tool on the end. But yeah, French brush. Right down the street at Sam's Nail Supply, there were $6. All right, very helpful. Definitely want to make sure you're cleaning up all the polish off of your client's skin before it goes into the light. Once it goes into the light, it's actually cured and stuck. Until maybe after she used like some oils and wash her hand, it eventually come off. But when you're first doing her nails, you don't want her to walk away with polish on her skin. All right, so go ahead and take that off before you put it in the light. Trying to get under your little free edge.
The last time I was here, I thought Rebecca was trying to
Kiara Scott, very thick viscosity gel polish, and you guys will see the difference. OPI, it has a nice viscosity, but it runs a lot. So I feel like it's a little bit looser than like D&D and Kiara Scott, but you guys will be able to like walk around and or come and try it out and just see how that one actually feels. Or what they mean by viscosity and the thickness of the actual gel. All right, and just a little bit of, I'm gonna use just a little tad bit of acetone off her skin. And then just coming around and cleaning up any that may be on here. I think it's pretty good. All right, one more time from you, Bridget. This is right here. You kind of had that little bump. Just come back in, smooth it back out, and then lay a coat back on. You don't have to take it all the way off. And I'm not rubbing as hard. It's very smooth. Yeah, I'll try to see them. It could just be the gel, IBD.
Have you tried their hard gel?
Yeah.
We talked
Okay.
about that,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah. IBD's hard gel is good too.
Okay.
Oh, there were another one that's pretty much been in the industry for a while too with hard gels.
Well, I think I got hard gels now.
Do you? It's IBD, isn't it? They're like a little gray.
It's like they had to dip it in the powder to put it on there. So it's like an application.
Let me think. Hold on. So the hard gel.
So soft gel would have been if I would have got a regular clear acrylic set and got this paint.
Polish on top of it, right?
But
Okay.
Because they had to dip it in the powder and apply it. You know how they have like a powder
Okay.
and then they put it on there?
They polish something on, right?
Well, with
Something clear.
No, they applied it with the nail brush.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
That's
They painted it or like built you an actual hard nail.
yes.
Yeah, that's a hard gel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you use those brushes and you kind of like polish it on.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it really sticky when they put it on? Like, did it just stay in one big old ball and they start to smooth
And
it
they
out?
start laying it out.
It may be a poly gel then too, which is still a hard gel.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you had them before, poly gel nails.
I didn't know.
What are
I just
those ones?
like
That's them?
yeah. Because usually I just get the regular acrylic set and
Okay.
they polish it.
Right.
But this time they use the dipping powder to paint it on there.
And they used, okay, yeah, they had a pot with some gel in it and they polished that on.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Or they did a little clear, they put your tip, a little clear solution, dipped it, clear solution, dipped it in the powder. Okay.
They did it like they had the powder right there. Like 4 or 5 different colors.
Gel or powder?
It was powder.
Really?
Pretty good, it sounds like.
That sounds like dip though, because gel would have been like some. I'll show it to you. It's a pot. It has gel in it. They would have picked it up with a brush and brushed it on, cured. Maybe added a little bit more of the gel.
But I
and
wonder if
cured.
they could they have used the dip powder with an acrylic brush and put it
Yeah.
on like a thin layer.
That's
yeah.
what they did.
I wonder if that's what. Yeah.
They used the powder, but they just took the brush and dipped it whatever they dipped it in to apply it. Like that.
That's what I'm like. I don't even know.
That's what they did. Because I know I always get gel polish, always. But this last time, it was not like that. It was good.
Is it in that?
They did like an acrylic. It sounds like.
But there was no.
No,
there was
it
no
was-
purple liquid.
It was dip powder.
Okay.
Yeah, we
And
did
then they
dip
applied it
powder.
on there like that.
How did they get the dip powder to stay on it though?
Should
Or
they
is
have
that,
that liquid?
is that the only thing that's in that little powdery can? Or is it something else could be? Like
I don't know what they did. If they didn't brush on something and put it in the pot and brush and pot and I don't even know what it was, because polygel, I'll show it to you guys, is like it squeezes out like a toothpaste. And you put the little ball on there and you flatten and you work it out like you would probably work your acrylic. Dip, they brush on a clear glue.
they did the first one that you said. They didn't put nothing clear, nothing on there. They put it on there and it was thick and then they
Okay, so maybe a polygel too then.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what they did.
So yeah, it's a hard gel.
So I'm saying it wrong. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I know. Some girls like, they do say that too. Like, I got my gel nails, and I'm like, no, it's not gel nails. There's no way that.
Nobody, they don't like to gel because they'll dip, sure they say you can, I'll do acrylic and gel. We don't do gel. I'm like, fine, whatever. You do, there is gel, but you
Yeah.
wanna
Oh
do
yeah.
acrylic gel.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
and
want
that's what
the
confused them.
gel
They're like,
gel.
oh yeah, I got gel nails, and I'd be like, no, it's acrylic nails with a gel top coat. But the client said the same thing. All right, that's a whole lot better. All right, you guys. So and just cleaning the nail plate, just removing off any of that tacky layer. Nothing should move. That's just like a little overflow. Remember, it's like a little bit of extra solvents from the gels. All your tacky layer is. It shouldn't be rubbing off. Now you have like little traces like this. This is fine. Gels again, 2 to 3 weeks, you guys. No chipping. If she's chipping, then maybe you forgot to cap her off, okay? Or if she's scrubbing pots like ma'am of course your nails are gonna chip if you're at home scrubbing pots with your little scrub thingy. But if she's like, no, I don't do anything, I type all day and my nails are chipping, then maybe the capping, okay? So we cap at the second coat and the top coat. All right, I'm gonna grab some foils and cotton and show you guys how for your client. All I have is cotton and foils. You can use regular aluminum foil that you get from like the Dollar Tree. It's okay, and cut it up. And I kind of like to have like some little squares to kind of, oh, you got 5, right? And pieces of cotton. You know something, I'm not even gonna struggle with getting my nails. I'm just gonna get that one. And I ain't gonna miss it. I'll save it for y'all when y'all get a client. All right, so we also learned about the top coat of the gel, the finishing gel. Very, very hard layer. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with soaking off gels, but if you don't break up that top layer, it's not gonna soak off. You can stick it in acetone all you want, but when it comes to finishing gel, nothing penetrates it. So you have to go in and break that up before you start to soak off. If they're on top of acrylic nails, then just foul it off. But on the natural nail, you're gonna have to foul that top layer of the finishing gel in order for it to penetrate to soak off the colored gel. I'm just getting some nice little squares here. You can have these pre-cut, like maybe if you're like kind of just doing some cleaning around your shop area, go in and kind of have these squares already pre-cut before your client comes. All right, I have 5.
Where did you get your little box from that you keep the?
This here?
Yeah.
The school gives you guys a little kit kind of
Yeah,
like this.
I have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, for.
Oh, where does she? We order them from a place called Mariana.
Oh,
They're
okay.
like the beauty school supplier, like
Yeah, because that
manufacturer
is a good
products.
idea to get, like, if you're gonna do your pink and whites, to have like a box with all your pink
Yeah,
and
or
white
have like a little
stuff.
tray. Yeah, and
Yeah.
have things already set up, like a manicure tray, things for your acrylics, things for your gels, like maybe have them like, you know, base coat, top coat,
Yeah.
primer, same thing for, because you know when your clients come, you don't want to be like, primer,
I know I have it
foul, you
somewhere
know,
over
kind of
here.
have everything already set up for her. I tell you guys too, like before your clients come in, before taking them to the back, have them sit down or make sure you're already set up. If you know you have an appointment at a certain time, go ahead and have your table and everything set up. You don't want to just kind of be scrambling and looking for things by the time your client sits down. But even having these already broke down would be good too. Just reach in, grab 10 and kind of keep going. All right, you guys, I'm just getting off little bitty pieces of cotton. So for the soak off. Now for acrylics, you can drill, put her in a bowl, some warm water, soak her off. But for gels, I don't really feel like it's necessary to put her in a whole bowl. It's pretty much just kind of like wasting product. So very first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna foul that top layer, of finishing gel off. To kind of come in, be very mindful of the pressure you're applying to the client's nails, because you can also burn her nail plate even with a regular foul. So I'm coming in and kind of breaking up that top layer of finishing gel. I can see her nail plate just a little bit. I'm on the more coarser side of this nail file right now. So I'm like at a 180. I think it's like a 180 and 200 or something on this one. So I'm on the more coarser side, not really like super coarse like an 80, but it's a little bit less lower than the 200. And I'm just kind of coming in and breaking up that finishing gel so the acetone can have a chance to penetrate the color. Again, holding back the client's sidewalls. I don't want to be fouling onto her skin. So I'm holding her like this. I'm really pinching down like this and holding her finger down. Versus here, when my hand's in the way, I can't foul. I'm down here at the bottom. And I'm not pinching hard, right? No. This is very gentle. right, so I got that brushed off. I'm gonna go in with my acetone and a piece of cotton and a foil. You're gonna saturate, saturate your cotton. Like get it extremely wet because you want this to be able to eat into the actual gel polish color. So kind of make it wet. I want it to be dry. Alrighty, set it on top of the actual area on the nail plate, and then come in with your foil. Push up, fold down toward the actual nail, and then go ahead and close it in. Flip one way, and then come back and flip the opposite way. And just like this. And you do this on all 10 fingers. You'll let her sit for about I'll say about 5 to 6 minutes, just kind of see, let it work. And then you'll come back and check and just to see if you need to do some more fouling or if it's just coming off perfectly. So again, saturated my cotton. I bring the foil under, fold over the client's nail plate, fold one way, and then come back and fold the next one. Just make sure it's kind of secured tight around her finger. So if you guys want to do the gel and soak it off on her today, that'll be fine. Unless she just wants to keep it on. But if you need to soak off, you guys are welcome to use the school's product and save yours.